When my daughter was 6, I began to insist that she do household chores and recorded everything on video. She was not even as tall as the stove and stood on a stool, struggling to do things well. She would cry out of frustration, whining and resisting, saying she didn't want to learn. However, I remained calm and encouraged her to continue. Some online commenters accused me of abusing her for fame and attention. Others even doubted if I was her real mother. It wasn't until 6 months later, when I appeared in a video that went viral, that the truth was revealed. It was my digital will for my daughter. In the video, I said with a smile, "When I'm gone, let these videos keep you company. If you miss me, just watch them." After being diagnosed with cancer, my biggest concern was for my daughter. She was only 6, soft and adorable with her pigtails. Everyone in the family adored her. But she was introverted and somewhat timid, often too shy to speak up when wronged or in need. It wasn't a big issue under normal circumstances. As she grew, it would likely improve. However, the doctors said I had at most 6 months left. I couldn't wait for her to grow up. The more obedient she was, the more it tormented me. I feared that without a mother, she might be bullied by other children or poorly looked after, especially since my husband and in-laws tended to overlook the finer details and might not pay enough attention to her inner needs. Moreover, if my husband were to remarry, it could put her in an awkward position. After much thought, I made several decisions. First, I would teach her as much as I could about how to survive independently in the limited time I had left. Second, I would record more videos, documenting answers to any problems I could foresee. Third, I would leave her a substantial amount of money. Fourth, I would send her a letter every year until she turned 18. The plan was simple, but not easy to execute. After all, she was only 6 and couldn't even grasp the concept of death. She would only know that one day, suddenly, I would be gone, never to see her or hug her again. I will be the greatest absence in her childhood, I thought, a realization that twisted my heart more painfully than the news of my impending death. I opened a bank account in my daughter's name and deposited all my savings into it, set to mature in 10 years, when she would be 16 and able to manage the money herself. The house was now in her name. When she grew up, she could decide whether to sell it or live in it. After sorting all this out, I canceled her extracurricular activities. As soon as school ended each day, I took her out to play, to parks, playgrounds, and fun castles. The joy that once required so much effort for her to earn was now a daily delight. While playing, I would adjust the angle of my camera to capture these moments. She was truly adorable, with her long lashes and chubby, tender little face. When her big eyes looked at me, my heart melted. She was popular among the children, but sometimes, some would pinch her face or snatch her things. Even if she didn't like it, she remained polite, at most just avoiding them. Seeing all this, my worries deepened. On the second day, I decided not to just aimlessly entertain her but instead enrolled her in a martial arts class. Martial arts training is tough, and I had never before considered having her learn it. However, contemplating a future where I might not be around to guide her through adolescence and teach her how to reject unwanted advances, I realized she needed to be able to protect herself. After just 2 days of practicing the horse stance, before even starting formal lessons, she was in tears, exhausted and begging to quit. It broke my heart, but I firmly insisted that she keep at it. She was upset and lashed out in frustration. I captured these moments in a video and uploaded it to a newly created account. Unexpectedly, it attracted a barrage of criticism. People are really bold to post their young daughter online like that. The child clearly doesn't want to learn, yet the parent forces her for the sake of views. Are you even fit to be a mother? At her age, she should be studying, not making videos all day. Is this what a real mother would do? For the sake of online views, you've lost your shame. Before uploading the video, I had checked it multiple times to ensure it was appropriate. Despite the backlash, I understood their point. Previously, I had only focused on her academic performance. When I was there to protect her, all she needed to do was be a carefree, happy little girl. But I won't be able to shield her forever. In nature, mother animals teach their young how to hunt. With the limited time I have, I want to pass on the most valuable life lessons to her. Excelling in studies is just a minor part of these lessons. I don't need her to be quietly compliant or genteel. I want her to be brave, resilient, and relentlessly strong. Without me, she must learn to fight, to claim, and to lead a fierce life. Besides martial arts, I also wanted to teach her how to cook. Food is essential, and no matter the circumstances, one must eat well and take care of one's health. My daughter isn't even as tall as the kitchen counter yet. So I bought her a sturdy step stool. Each step she took in cooking, she would look at me for confirmation and only continue after receiving my encouragement. Watching her cautious and nervous at the stove, thinking about the tough tasks she'd have to handle alone in the future, was heart-wrenching. If I could, I would never want her to take on adult responsibilities so soon, but life is not always within our control, and I had to be firm. Underneath the martial arts video, people merely questioned my educational approach. But once the cooking video was uploaded, the accusations became harsher. Is this mom planning for another child, forcing the little girl to learn how to care for a younger one? If you can't afford kids, don't have them. Why make such a young child cook? Has everyone else in the family passed away? I was forced to cook as a child too, in addition to feeding pigs and washing clothes for the whole family. Believe me, what you see is just the tip of the iceberg. Who knows how she's being ordered around off camera? Having a daughter is great, isn't it? A free little housemaid. In the previous video, the child expressed relief at not having to attend hobby classes anymore. It's clear she used to have them, but now she's not allowed to go and has to cook at home instead. Terrifying to think about. Some people just shouldn't be parents. My video went viral, and my account gained hundreds of thousands of trolls. My inbox was filled with insults. Even my parents saw it. My mom called to ask if my mother-in-law and I were too busy to manage. She offered to help take care of my child, suggesting I should stop teaching her to cook. She still needs to attend her extracurricular classes. She said, "Kids these days are working hard, don't let her fall behind in her studies." Moms always have a soft spot for their daughters. Even though I'm 35 and about to leave this world, she still treats me like a child. I felt so guilty that I wanted to cry. I never really honored her properly and always ended up arguing with her. I feel so unfilial. It's because I pushed her too hard before. I just want her to have some relaxation. I said, having a happy childhood is also very important. That made my mom reflect on my own childhood. She sighed, "You're right. We were busy with work and left you alone at home on weekends. Later, we always asked you to help take care of your younger brother. We are sorry for that." Parents always feel they owe something to their children, afraid that they haven't given enough to ensure a good life. Tears welled up in my eyes, and from the bottom of my heart, I felt sorry for my parents. Seeing that I was silent, my mom probed. "How about I come to visit you in a few days?" I panicked, afraid that once she came over, she would discover that I was ill and close to death. My mom is very sensitive, and if I refused her, she would become even more suspicious. I had to pretend to be cheerful and agreed promptly, but after hanging up, I was anxious, trying to think of ways to keep my condition a secret. It's been over a week since the diagnosis. I haven't told anyone, not even my husband. He only found out that I had stopped our daughter's classes after watching the video. When he returned from another late night at work, he cautiously asked, "Do you want our daughter to become an internet celebrity?" I shook my head. He was even more puzzled. "Then why did you suddenly stop her classes and take her out every day?" I thought he was angry. Just as I was about to explain, I heard him say with a sense of hurt, "And you kept it a secret from me, not taking me with you." "I want to go too. How can you be so biased?" I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After 10 years of love, from the buoyant and bold beginnings to our now prudent and measured selves, we both have become the people we always wanted to be. His gaze towards me has never changed, and I still love him deeply. But this love now has an expiration date of just 6 months. In front of him, I couldn't pretend, nor could I control my tears. I had to tell him the truth. "Honey, I am dying." He was stunned for a long time. At first, he thought it was a joke, but seeing my tears, he was unsure. Instinctively, he embraced me, gently patting my back to comfort me. As my emotional breakdown gradually eased, he found his voice again. "No," he said gently, "I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. Are you feeling unwell? Let's take good care of your health. Don't worry about work, money, or household matters." His voice was strained, almost crying. "No matter what happens, can we not give up, please?" I started crying again. My tears weren't for myself though. I just couldn't bear the thought of losing him. "It's useless. It's lung cancer," I told him, "and it's advanced." My husband held me tightly, as if trying to merge me into his body. He couldn't help but choke up, his voice filled with disbelief and fear. How could this happen? He was just as baffled as I was, wondering why this disaster had struck me. why it had suddenly descended upon our family. "You're so young, and you don't have any bad habits. Why lung cancer?" But he was even more unwilling to accept it than I was. "Don't be afraid, my dear, I'll take care of everything. I'll contact my classmates, my boss, and find the best doctors in the world for you. We can definitely cure this." When I first received the diagnosis, I had thought the same, but lung cancer has a very high mortality rate, mainly because its early symptoms are incredibly concealed. By the time it's discovered, it's usually too late. I couldn't bring myself to tell him that the cancer had already spread to my breastbone. Every breath I took was agonizing, but I nodded in agreement. "Okay, I won't give up, let's fight this together." But deep down, I knew it was just a waste of time. I gently caressed my husband's face, a habit from the days when we were deeply in love. Whenever I felt pain for him, wanting to comfort him, I would snuggle into his arms and trace his features with my fingertips. In the past, whenever I did this, even if we had just had a fight, he would invariably start to laugh, grab my hand, and tell me it tickled, teasing me not to take advantage of him. But this time, he didn't laugh. His tears wet my hands. "My dear," I said, my heart aching beyond words, "this is really going to be tough for you." He would need to accompany me to see doctors, help me keep this from our family. Continue working, take care of our daughter, and after I'm gone, he would need to live well, to live without me, not to think of me, to forget me, and start a new life. I wrote all these thoughts down in a letter, as I couldn't bear to speak them out loud yet. Talking about these things made me want to cry, and I didn't want to leave him only tears and bitterness in our last days together. I wanted to be joyful, so that when he remembered me in the future, he would remember happiness. Although I never liked wearing makeup, now I put it on every day to cover up my increasingly gaunt face. My husband tirelessly searched for hospitals and specialists, scouring the internet for any information he could find. Whenever he discovered something new, he'd tell me right away, not wanting to miss any chance to save me. Of course, I cooperated, showing a willingness to undergo treatment, to give him some hope. We both tried hard to keep it from our family, but eventually, the truth is hard to conceal. My sharp mother-in-law was the first to notice that something was off. Both she and my father-in-law are retired teachers with plenty of time on their hands, living in the same neighborhood as us. They often came over. She was an exceptional cook, especially known for her lamb dishes, which she could prepare tender and fresh, completely free of any gamey taste. Our family loves to eat. This day, she brought fresh lamb chops to our house to make hand-pulled lamb and lamb hot pot for us. However, the joyful smile on her face stiffened as soon as she entered the door. She carefully examined my face and suddenly asked with concern, "Wendy, tell me the truth. Did something happen? What's wrong, Mom?" I forced a smile, holding my hand and looking into my eyes. Her eyes slowly reddened. "Why have you suddenly lost so much weight?" I didn't know how to tell her. My mother-in-law is a very kind person and treats me like her own daughter. If she knew I had cancer and my days were numbered, it would definitely be very distressing for her. "Mom, it's my fault," I said with a choked voice, apologizing. "I've been under a lot of stress recently, and I've been having some trouble sleeping." "Which worried you?" Hearing this, my mother-in-law felt sorry for me but was also somewhat relieved. The pressures on young people these days are indeed tremendous. "How can I blame you? Don't take things too hard, just focus on getting some rest and taking care of your health." I nodded with a smile. My mother-in-law smiled too, then started scolding my husband. "What's with this William? He didn't even notice his wife was upset. I need to have a serious talk with him when he gets back." After she finished speaking, she began efficiently organizing the ingredients to start cooking. Watching her busy figure made me feel even more remorseful. I asked her, "Mom, do you blame me for stopping my daughter's extracurricular classes and making videos with her instead?" After the videos went viral, many relatives called me, accusing me of spoiling my daughter too much. They said that education is challenging these days, and the most important thing for my daughter should be her studies. Not engaging in activities that aren't academically focused. Even if she doesn't attend tutoring classes, she should at least read some extracurricular books. There are plenty of people at home who can cook. Why teach her these things? And those netizens are so harsh. Why bother? I thought my mother-in-law would take this opportunity to criticize me too. However, my mother-in-law said, "You are her mother. No one cares more about her and her future than you do, although it's hard for me. I know you only want what's best for her, so not only do I not blame you, but I also fully support you." grandmother always spoke with a smile. It was like a spring breeze that soothed my restless heart. Knowing my daughter has such a grandmother, I felt I could leave with peace of mind. That evening, I received a call from my mom saying she would come over the weekend, and this Thursday was my first day of chemotherapy. I was initially reluctant to undergo chemotherapy because I had heard from other patients that the side effects were terrifying. Moreover, with cancer, it ultimately comes down to fate. Some pass away 3 days after starting treatment, while others live for 5 more years. Who knows what determines the outcome? Wealth, fame, talent, appearance. None of it matters. In the face of illness, all humans are equally insignificant and vulnerable. I didn't want to waste the time and money. But I was even more afraid that my husband would see my true feelings. He still hoped I could be cured. He had taken time off work well in advance and made up an excuse that we needed a getaway to deceive our daughter into staying with her grandparents while he accompanied me to the hospital. We had done our homework before the chemotherapy but still underestimated its agony. During those 3 days in the hospital, I thought about escaping countless times: dizziness, headache, vomiting. I visibly lost a lot of weight, and my complexion turned frighteningly pale. By the 3rd day, my hair began to fall out in clumps, and I developed numerous sores in my mouth. Eating became a torment for me. My husband's expression went from hopeful to painfully conflicted. He couldn't sleep properly for 3 days, jolting awake whenever he dozed off on the lounge chair and then clutching my hand tightly to feel if it was still warm. It wasn't the first time he had stayed with me in the hospital. He was there when our daughter was born via cesarean section, and he took care of both of us tirelessly. Back then, he was happy, always smiling, unlike now when it seemed he might burst into tears at any second. Finally, the first session of chemotherapy ended, and I didn't know what to do. Anyone could see there was something wrong with me now, let alone my mother, who would be visiting the next day, the day I was discharged. It began to snow for the first time that season. The white flakes danced in the air and settled on the desolate earth, causing passers-by to exclaim in surprise and stop to capture the rare beauty with their cameras, unsure who they would send the pictures to. The atmosphere was peaceful and serene. Even the harsh winter wind felt gentler. Perhaps it too enjoyed the snow. Every snowy day seemed exceptionally quiet and warmer. Watching the swirling snowflakes, I remembered countless first snow days from my past, rolling in the snow with friends as a child, intentionally building an upside-down snowman, taking photos with my girlfriends on snowy days, and later, receiving a shy confession of love from my husband amidst a snowstorm. Many memorable days rushed back to me like the snowflakes. Turning to my husband, I realized he had been watching me. I couldn't help but smile and took his hand. "It's snowing, let's go home and have hot pot," I suggested. He nodded, wrapped a scarf around me, and put on my hat. He asked me to wait in the hallway while he brought the car around. "Let's walk there together," I insisted, holding onto his fingertips, not wanting to miss any more time together. Suddenly, his eyes reddened, and he forced a stiff smile, supporting me as we walked. Walking slowly, he suddenly suggested, "Let me carry you on my back." I knew he thought I was too weak and feared that I might collapse into the snow any second. "The road is slippery," I said. "It's okay, I'll walk slowly." "Come on up," he replied, crouching down in front of me. I couldn't help but laugh, remembering how he used to do the same thing in the past. Whenever we were alone, he would impulsively decide to carry me or suddenly lift me up, often startling me and drawing disapproving looks from passers-by. Thinking about it now, it seems so childish. Should I really get on? I asked, hands poised on his shoulders, eager to try. He stretched his arms backward, ready to catch me. With a strong jump, I was in his arms, and he carried me securely, striding forward much faster than if we had walked. "Wife," his voice suddenly turned hoarse, "do you know, you're really light." Tears came to his eyes again. Since our daughter was born, he seemed to have grown up overnight, becoming an incredibly strong father. But since my cancer diagnosis, he had become very fragile, crying even more than me. I wanted to tease him, but the words felt too harsh at the tip of my tongue. Instead, I tried to lighten the mood. "Isn't that great? A devilish figure, my love." He couldn't help but laugh through his tears, amused by my jest. "My love, too." The snow kept falling heavier. From the hospital corridor to the parking lot was over 300 meters. Snowflakes began to settle on my husband's hair. Silently, I took off the hood of my down jacket. The snow fell silently onto my hair, icy cold, flake by flake. Watching the snow cover his hair and shoulders, turning them gradually white, a secret joy began to swell in my heart. If we can share the snow today, we can grow old together in this life, I thought. Woo, look, the promise you made to grow old with me is being fulfilled right now. So from now on, you no longer need to bear my pain, you have your own life. Let's walk different paths from here. In a letter to him, I wrote, such is life, let's not meet too often, our fate is shallow, where can deep feelings reside? To forget is to guard each other, and in my heart, I repeated over and over, may you live a long, joyful, and undisturbed life. He will surely live a long life because I will be watching over him from heaven. When we got home, we pretended we were just returning from a trip. We brought back a bunch of specialties bought online and picked up our daughter from her grandparents. Before going, I had put on makeup. My mother-in-law didn't notice my increasingly withered appearance and enthusiastically shared fun stories from our daughter's martial arts class. Having not seen my daughter for a few days, I missed her terribly and watched her intently without blinking. She clung to me more than ever. During those 3 days in the hospital, I missed her terribly, getting by only on previous videos. My husband discovered this effect too. This means that they no longer question my decisions. I even bought my daughter a mini kitchen set and some knives. From previous videos, my daughter has already learned how to cook eggs, boil dumplings, and make noodles. Today, she wanted to try making scallion oil noodles and asked me to teach her. After we finished making it, she took a bite and exclaimed, "It tastes just like yours, Mom." Then, excitedly, she picked up a chopstick full and fed me, saying, "Mom, try it, it really tastes just like yours, so delicious." I tasted it and smiled. It was indeed just like mine. It almost brought tears to my eyes. A mother's cooking is always special. My daughter is really smart and impressive. Now, she has learned the taste of her mother's cooking. In the future, whenever she misses me, she can cook it herself. What do you want to learn next time, baby? I asked my daughter. She confidently replied, mashed potatoes. My daughter loves mashed potatoes and could eat them every day without getting tired of them. Suddenly, a cough surged to my throat, bringing with it a warm, sweet taste of blood. I quickly covered my mouth, but it was too late to stop before I coughed up blood in front of the camera. My daughter, standing on a small stool, was washing her mini kitchen tools and did not notice my distress. Blood flowed from between my fingers like water from a tap. I hurriedly left the kitchen and rushed into the bathroom. Reality is not a fairy tale. Miracles rarely happen. My condition has worsened since before the chemotherapy. On the day my mother arrived, I couldn't even get out of bed. My brother drove my mom over, and the two of them arrived laden with bags big and small, wearing a bulky down jacket. I mustered the strength to greet them at the door. My husband reached out to take some of the items from their hands. Instinctively, I tried to help, but realized I couldn't even lift a chicken. My daughter clung to my mom, chattering away happily. Although my mom didn't seem to notice, my brother did, though, and he casually picked the bags up again. Getting delicate, are we? I joked with him as we walked side by side to the back. Suddenly, he remarked nostalgically, "It's actually good to be a bit bulky." Strong enough to make a punch really hurt. That rascal. I raised my hand, pretending to punch him. "Mom," my brother playfully pleaded, "look at my sister, about to hit your precious son." My mom responded, "Give him a couple of extra hits for me. He's grown so big and still isn't married. Just seeing him gives me a headache." My daughter laughed and jumped around, visibly delighted. She especially adores her uncle because he spoils her rotten, letting her eat 3 ice creams and 10 lollipops in one go. He brought her quite a few little trinkets this time, completely charming her. She even ate an extra half bowl of rice at lunch. I smiled through it all, almost forgetting my illness. "Eat, you eat too, don't just serve us," they insisted. My mom kept piling food into my bowl, building a little mountain, and wouldn't stop. What she didn't know was that I couldn't eat that much. The reason I busied myself serving them and chatting was precisely so I could eat less. I was in pain, my mouth hurt, my throat hurt, my whole body hurt. I ended up eating quite a bit, enduring until the end. When my husband cut some fruit, we all sat in the living room chatting. I found an excuse to go to the bathroom. I turned on the faucet and let the loud sound of the water cover up the noise as I vomited violently, tears and snot flowing freely. I tried to hold back the tears because my eyes would redden, making it obvious, but physiological tears are hard to stop. I somewhat regretted undergoing chemotherapy. At least I would have maintained some basic dignity, not obviously so ill. Coming out of the bathroom, my mom indeed noticed. She stared at my eyes and the bony knobs of my ankles, her own eyes gradually reddening, but she didn't confront me immediately, instead turning away so my brother wouldn't see. He had just graduated from college and was working as a rookie programmer at a major company. With not much work experience, his hair and stubble were already catching up with his seniors. At 23, he looked 32. No wonder my mom was worried. I was worried he wouldn't find a girlfriend. He had to work the next day, and after playing with my daughter a while, he prepared to leave. My husband and daughter went to see him off. The moment the door closed, my mom's tears fell. She just cried. Without speaking, I understood her habit because I'm much like her. When we cry, we can't make a sound. Even if we speak, the words are muffled and jumbled, barely audible. We faced each other, tears streaming down our faces, as if looking into a mirror. Looking at her was like seeing myself in the future. My thoughts leapt over the unremarkable 25 years that lay ahead, landing at my 60th birthday. Her experiences mirrored my own. Her joy was my joy, and her sorrow, with my departure, I would take with me. If only it were so, perhaps this could somewhat make up for the filial piety I failed to express in time. But how could it really? The old burying the young. It's heart-wrenching to just imagine stepping into her shoes. I held her tightly, feeling her pain. Once I'm gone, though, what about those left behind? My daughter is still too young. She will soon forget. My husband is young too. A new love might help him move on. But what about my mother? Seeing me is like looking in a mirror for her. How can she calmly accept that a part of her life is being torn away? I'm failing in my filial duties, forcing her to endure such pain at 60, an age when she should be enjoying her grandchildren. Wendy, what's wrong with you? Look how thin you've become. My mother began calmly but soon started crying again. I tried to brush it off. I'm just on a diet. Who diets themselves to a skeleton? She interrupted urgently. I may be old, but I'm not senile. Don't lie to me. I was speechless, and then it was my turn to cry. If you keep hiding things from me, I'll ask your mother-in-law, she said displeased. As she stood to leave, I knew she was just trying to scare me, so I grabbed her sleeve instantly, but I tugged too hard and fell, coughing violently and spitting blood. My mother was terrified, rushing to help me, helplessly and frantically trying to stop the bleeding, but to no avail. It was a gruesome sight. Before I passed out, I regretted not telling her the truth, to prepare her mentally. Now, I've left her with a psychological scar. When I awoke, I was in the hospital with my mother sitting by the bed, her eyes swollen like walnuts. She already had large bags under her eyes, a trait I inherited, making her look even older now. I fiddled with a hole in her sweater without letting go. Woke up. That's great, I'll call the doctor, she said, managing a weak smile. Still clutching the sweater, I asked, thirsty, hungry, sweetheart, I need to check with the doctor if you can have water or food, she said anxiously. I shook my head, struggling to speak. Mom, this time, let's not listen to the doctor. Let's go home. I haven't yet taught my daughter how to make mashed potatoes. My mother broke down in tears, but kept nodding. It felt as if I was making a final wish. I eventually consulted the doctor, who regretfully informed me that there were no better options available. Originally, chemotherapy was recommended because there was no targeted medication available. However, my immune system was too weak, and the chemo did not yield good results. From this point on, my fate was uncertain. Despite my efforts to hide my condition, it inevitably came out, leading to immense guilt from both my mother and mother-in-law. One lamented not taking better care of me in my childhood, while the other regretted not taking better care of me after I got married. They couldn't stop crying for hours. I tried to console them, but they just cried more. It was only in front of my daughter that they put on brave faces, trying to keep her happy by covering for each other. This made me cherish every moment spent with my daughter even more. I taught her how to cook a variety of dishes, and gradually, we made up to 50 cooking videos together. During this time, a significant incident occurred. My daughter got into a fight at school. The school called me in. After stopping chemotherapy, the side effects gradually diminished, and most of the time, I appeared to be just an ordinary sick person. I put on a hat and rushed to the office. The boy she fought with was still crying loudly. His parents were very emotional, demanding that the school discipline my daughter. However, the boy was a head taller than she was, standing in the corner. My daughter pouted when she saw me but held back her tears. She knew about my illness and was always trying to keep me happy and avoid upsetting me. She thought I would be angry. Instead, I stood firmly in front of her and demanded, "I want to see the surveillance footage." "What surveillance footage? Look at how your daughter beat up my son." The boy's parent pointed at me and yelled, "So what if you are an internet celebrity? Does being famous give you the right to bully classmates? She knows martial arts. What if she internalized the injury to my son? Either you pay us 50,000, or the school should expel your daughter." My daughter was frightened and hugged my waist, crying out, "Don't be mean to my mom, you can't bully her." I felt both heartbroken and moved. I hugged my daughter and shielded her again. "I'll say it one more time, I want to see the surveillance. If it's broken, I'll call the police. Their technicians can surely recover the video. If it turns out my daughter started the fight, I will compensate and apologize, but if it wasn't her fault, I will defend her rights to the end." The other parents' anger subsided a bit, but they were still furious and tried to push me. The school officials intervened and pulled up the surveillance footage. In the video, my daughter was initially eating snacks with several classmates in the hallway. The boy swaggered over, jokingly posing like a boxer. After bouncing around, he suddenly punched my daughter and another girl on their arms. The students recoiled in shock. Moving to the side, the boy continued to chase after them with a grin, pretending to box. My daughter, clutching her arm obviously in pain, had enough as he persisted. Her expression changed, and she stared fiercely at him. As he charged at her again, she responded with several moves from her martial arts training. Her actions were crisp and powerful, forcing the boy to retreat and fall to the ground. Bursting into tears, the boy cried out twice, and growing increasingly angry, he got up and yelled, "I'm going to beat you up." Before charging forward again, my daughter stepped back twice, and just when I thought she was scared and about to run, she delivered a perfectly executed side kick to the boy's chest, knocking him to the ground and causing him to cry even louder. At that moment, the teacher arrived, pulling him up. After watching the surveillance footage, the boy's parents turned pale. I insisted on seeing the surveillance because I knew I had taught my daughter well, I said with undeniable pride, leaving the other parents at a loss for words. They had no choice but to suppress their son's complaints and apologize to us. The children made up, and the matter was settled. I didn't let my daughter continue with her classes that day. Instead, I took her home because I knew she must have many questions for me. Indeed, she was puzzled and asked, "They say only bad kids fight. Mom, aren't you mad at me?" I told her, "If someone hits you, you have the right to hit back. That's self-defense." Her eyes lit up. "I had you learn martial arts so that you could protect yourself in situations like this and come out unharmed." She hugged me happily. "Mom knows you wouldn't bully others. But if someone tries to bully you, use your fists to tell them you're not someone to be trifled with." "Okay." My daughter nodded excitedly. "Don't be scared if you encounter similar situations in the future." I took the opportunity to instruct her further. "Just make sure you keep yourself safe. Leave the rest to your dad and me. If you can fight, fight. If not, run. Just don't get hurt, okay?" She nodded vigorously. This incident left a deep impression on her. She became more outgoing and confident. It's also one of the proudest moments I had before leaving. After the arrival of summer, my health has steadily declined. I no longer have the energy to record and edit videos. Fortunately, after my daughter learned how to cook 50 dishes, she began to apply her knowledge creatively and independently. Sometimes, she even picks up new recipes from other food bloggers and cooks for me. The more she shines, the harsher the criticism I receive online. People accuse me of ruining my daughter. People say she's lost all her girlish ways. The look in her eyes when she practices martial arts scares me. Last time she fought at school, her mother confronted the other parents, forcing the alleged victim to apologize. She's bullying her classmates at such a young age. What will she become when she grows up? Raised without a mother's guidance, should society step in to teach her? She's pretty, but what a pity, she's a ticking time bomb. The number of followers on my account continues to grow, but they are mostly critics. Online users treat me as a mother who profits off her daughter, relentlessly attacking me. This continued until I vomited blood and fainted, landing in the hospital. It's been 5.5 months since the first video was released. I've been lapsing into long periods of unconsciousness, with very little time awake, even when I am awake. I lack the strength to move. I know my time is near. For the first time, I asked my husband to set up the camera for me. I wanted to be on camera for a video. Don't peek, I told everyone as I asked them to leave the room, alone. I faced the camera from my hospital bed, the camera screen flipped around, and I saw my current state. So ugly, I thought. It's true that in speechless moments, one might just smile. The person in the screen smiled back. I don't know what to say. I admitted awkwardly, this will probably be the last video. By the time you see this, I will have passed away. It's strange how at the very end of life, one can speak of such news with calmness, unlike 5.5 months ago when the mere thought filled me with instinctual fear and sorrow. 5.5 months ago, I was diagnosed with adenocarcinoma of the lung, and my life entered its final countdown. I wondered what I could leave for my daughter. I am just an ordinary person, with no noble thoughts or great wealth, but I wanted her childhood memories to be not so cold and lacking. I am glad that these videos and images on the internet will leave a trace. I took my daughter out every day, trying to give her as much maternal warmth as possible in my last moments. After I'm gone, I won't be able to accompany her, but I wanted to give her all my love in advance. Teaching her martial arts was to ensure she can protect herself. The incident at school was handled by me, and the surveillance clearly showed that my daughter was defending herself legitimately. Anyone interested can check for themselves. Teaching her to cook was so that no matter where she is in the future, she can always have a good meal, because that carries the taste of her mother. That's all I can leave her. After explaining everything, I couldn't help but start to say my final words. My dearest friends and family, I'm sorry, but I have to get off this journey first. I didn't cry or choke up. I smiled through it all. Make sure to eat well and exercise, and don't rush to join me too soon. Mom, Dad, and my in-laws, you must take good care of yourselves. I won't be able to fulfill my duties as a daughter anymore, and for that, I'm sorry. You've been truly wonderful to me, and I am so grateful and content. Please don't blame yourselves or feel sad. In the next life, I'll be a good daughter to you again. After saying this, I felt a bit embarrassed. What if there really is a next life and they don't want such a troublesome daughter? Well, what's said is said, that's it, I guess. Finally, I spoke to my daughter. My dear daughter, my most precious treasure, I'm so sorry that I won't be able to watch you grow up. After I pass away, let these videos keep you company. Whenever you miss me, just watch them. I'll become a star in the sky and watch over you. And the last thing I told her was, Mommy will always love you. Side story. The husband's perspective. After the video was released, it caused a huge sensation. Everyone was shocked to discover that the account, which had been relentlessly criticized by numerous netizens, contained what were essentially electronic farewell messages from my wife. Even I was caught off guard. The last video my wife recorded was the one I uploaded. I don't know how to edit videos, and since these were the final images my wife left for me, I couldn't bear to cut a single word. I uploaded the original video. Overnight, the account gained 1 million followers. There were many comments. I'm so sorry for having insulted the blogger before. I truly regret it. The taste of Mom's cooking is the best in the world. It's a pity I'll never experience it again, nor did I learn how. Why didn't the blogger tell us earlier? It's heartbreaking. I really miss my mom. My dad also died from lung cancer. It's been 3 years and I still haven't moved on. The kite he made me is almost falling apart. No matter how much I try to fix it, I don't know how to preserve it. From today, I am also a child without a mother. My mom left us early, and the few memories I have of her are fading. I wish I had recordings of her. I dream of hearing her voice again. Who says girls have to be gentle and cute? Can't they be fierce and strong? I've been wanting to say my daughter has also been learning Taekwondo for 3 years. You don't understand a mother's worries. Yeah, the blogger's daughter is actually a cool and awesome girl. She has a great personality. Some people really have mean mouths. The blogger is lying, right? Please update soon. I still want to learn cooking. Even just an update about the daughter would be nice. Having followed for so long, it's really hard to hear this news. They will never see an update again, because that person, who loved life and her daughter passionately, has left us forever. It was truly cruel. When she left, she secretly held my mother's hand, asking her to make sure I find someone else who would be good to our daughter and not to be alone. My mom was almost crying her eyes out. I too was angry, the kind of anger that's hard to soothe. It was she who left me behind. Why should she push me towards someone else? Moreover, after her departure, who in the world could love our daughter like she did? I can't even do it. I loved her the most, and I want to forgive her. but why won't she come and comfort me? I long to hold her again, even if just in a dream, but she's so heartless. She never even appeared in my dreams once. I remember when we first dated, she would secretly read novels during class. One time she suddenly burst into tears, almost getting caught by the teacher. After class, I asked her what she had read that made her cry so much. She told me about a story where the female protagonist fakes her death, leaving the male protagonist in deep regret. In the middle of the night, she wrote, "Tonight, my soul is disturbed by illness. Only in my dreams do I not dream of you." It almost broke her heart. Now, I'm the one who is heartbroken. Why won't she come and comfort me? It turns out that the saying, daytime thoughts lead to nighttime dreams, isn't true. Or does she know I'm angry and is deliberately keeping her distance? Well, I'm not angry anymore. Can she come and see me? I really miss her. When spring comes and I see cherry blossoms, I think of her pulling me to take photos, even scolding me for not taking good ones. In summer, seeing watermelons. When I see the pointed tip of a watermelon, I'm reminded of how she would playfully snatch it away. In autumn, the sight of falling leaves brings back memories of her coffee-colored coat and the scent of her chestnut perfume. Winter, I haven't made it to winter yet. Every day since she left has been unbearably long. On my daughter's 7th birthday, she received a letter. It was short, not even long enough to be an 800-word essay. At first, she hid it, reluctant to show it to me. Eventually, because she couldn't read many of the words, she excitedly asked me to read it aloud to her. She's still young, but she's already sensible. Mom has gone to a faraway place, no longer fools her. Death means never seeing her again, and she understands that. Sometimes she cries, but she calms down quickly. She's stronger than me. Dear daughter, today you are 7 years old. What a powerless way to start. I read the letter eagerly, painstakingly focusing on every word. As I read it in my mind, I could hear her voice and tone. But why was it so short? I thought greedily. By the end, I realized the letter spoke only of her thoughts for our daughter, not mentioning me at all. This made me even angrier. After reading it, I deliberately didn't tell my daughter what was written. My daughter threw tantrums and didn't speak to me for a month. Eventually, I recited the contents of the letter to her with great emotion, and we reconciled. But I still couldn't be happy. My wife was too biased. Then, on the first day of winter, I too received a letter. That's more like it, I thought. My wife really does care about me. But when I opened the letter, I was devastated again. Sitting by the window, I stared out at the bare, desolate branches, feeling a cold emptiness inside. She actually asked me to forget her. How cruel she was. If she were still here, I would definitely confront her. If she were still here, why would I be suffering like this? She was biased. The first snow came early this year. I stepped out of the office to grab a coffee one morning and looked up to see beautiful, sparkling snowflakes swirling down. So beautiful, I decided to leave work early and go home for hot pot. Later, I couldn't help but reply to her letter. Dear Wendy, hello, it's been a while since you left, and my longing deepens. Reading your letter, I find my anger and resentment hard to contain, and sleep eludes me at night. After all, I'm a grieving family member. Can't you offer me some sympathy? Can't I be allowed to grieve? You urge me on, being pushed to remarry by my own wife. Does that sound right to you? In my current state, who else would have me but you? I hope your future letters will be free of these tormenting words. Wait, will there be more letters? What did you really want to tell me? Why won't you come see me if you miss me so much? I'm not afraid. I can hardly believe in anything anymore. If there is a next life, could you wait for me just a bit? Life passes quickly. It's as if you've left me halfway, owing me an apology. If you don't say anything, I'll take your silence as agreement. It snowed today. I once read that every snowflake is a letter from winter. If it snows in your world too, let's pretend we've met. Okay, Wendy, by the way, your words are too profound. I don't understand them. Here's a rhyming ditty that I'd like to share with you. As the year draws to an end, listen to the falling snow, bringing good tidings in this fleeting world. The misty rain moistens the south, as I walk alone with an umbrella. In closing, though this note is brief, my feelings are deep and ever lingering, forever missing you, my dearest friend, closest family, and beloved. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.